You know, it's a great time getting into a series without absolutely no knowledge about it whatsoever and being completely surprised just by how good it turned out to be. Hello lovelies, welcome to another episode of AnimeTalk. If you're new here, welcome. This is a series in which I talk about anime, my first impressions of them, whether it is old, new, good, or bad, and today's episode is very, very good. I've heard about Pet Shop of Horrors for a very, very long time, and I've come to realize that it's actually in the Josei category. This is just a 4-episode OVA that came out in 1999, actually animated by Studio Madhouse back in the day. Let me tell you something right off the gate. This is something that I feel like a lot of people should actually bring up more often when they talk about not just like anime, but any sort of art form. The music. Freaking nobody told me that the music in this OVA was going to be freaking phenomenal, but lo and behold, every single track in Pet Shop of Horrors absolutely slaps. Like, I know I'm gonna get to the main synopsis very quickly, but it's just something I have to mention because, good holy lord, the soundtrack I'm blown away by. It is a very small select pieces throughout the entirety of the OVA, but every single one of them sticks with you throughout the entirety of each episode. It fits every single scenario. It's something that I haven't really, heard in a lot of animes, period. It has, its own very specific genre. It's very ethereal. It's very kind of, experimental. But with how the anime depicts itself very visually, it strangely fits with this whole oddity of the series. There's Dope, which is my favorite track. There's stuff like Delicious, and then the main theme, remixed, is 10 out of 10 quality stuff. The person who did the soundtrack for the OVA was Kazuhisa Yamaguchi, which I tried to find what else he did. He barely did anything else. He only did Pet Shop of Horrors and something called Kamikaze Kaito Jinne, which I've never heard of. He did the main theme of it, but that's it. I couldn't find anything else besides those two mentions on my anime list. Why didn't this person do more? Why didn't this person do more banger soundtracks like this anime? It's baffling. If you haven't heard the soundtrack, please do check it out. There's the entire soundtrack on YouTube, and there has been recently a vinyl release for the entire soundtrack. Good choice, by the way. I'm super glad they chose this to release on vinyls. I want the vinyl. I want the soundtrack physically. It is so freaking good. Guys, listen to it. It's great stuff. Anyways, we should actually talk about the actual anime now. So, what is the main plot of the anime in specific? Well, the main plot of it is that you're in Chinatown in New York City, and maybe you just kind of need, a little pet. Maybe something to help out your troubles. And Count D is here to give you that specific type of pet that you may be looking for. But there's always a catch behind it. You have to make sure you follow 3 specific rules. One of them is always never to be seen with the pet, and there's always 2 other specific rules when it comes to the pet. And if you break the contract, there's going to be very dire consequences. In fact, you may not even make it out alive. A lot of the people tend to end up dead at Pet Shop of Horrors. Well, let's talk about that for a second. In the anime, they really specifically chose different chapters to adapt from the manga. The manga, there's definitely way more lighthearted stories of, people being happily ever after with their pets that help them in their dire situations or their kind of sorrowing situations, but the anime kind of chose the more tragic chapters to adapt throughout the OVA, so it kind of keeps this very sort of, dark tone throughout the OVA, and it works really well. But that doesn't mean all of it's super dark all the time. I think there's a lot of good chemistry between Count D and the detective who's trying to catch Count D on his tracks, Leon. I really like the dynamic of these two. They're really fun. You have Leon's very serious demeanor of trying to crack down the cases that have been happening connected to Count D's pet shop, and just Count D kind of being dismissive and kind of just being kind of carefree and chillax about the whole thing. They really have a really fun dynamic going back to back with one another. There's this really oddity of respect for one another, but Leon would definitely not admit it, and Count D is kind of just going for the ride throughout the entirety of their relationship, which, I mean, you know, there's this chapter in the manga where they have to like track down this like dragon egg because Count D accidentally got the two eggs mixed up because one of his clients got like a turtle egg instead of like him. Let me rephrase that. Count D accidentally gave away like a dragon egg that was like supposed to hatch. It was like a very rare species, and he has like the turtle, so he and Leon go out like on this like fetch quest and like meet a bunch of like weird people, and then Leon's like, yeah, freaking Count D's weird. And they like have this magical moment together, like, we're the parents of the dragon. I'm like, see, I only read like the first volume of the collector's edition, and I can only wish maybe there could be something between the two. If it's just strictly platonic, that's fine too, but if there's something more, you know, that would be grand too. Like, honey, I have not gotten spoiled for anything from the manga, so I'm just here for the ride. I'm loving it. It's great. It's amazing. Most of the anime is very episodic, as well as the manga. There's not really a heavy plot. As I've read, like, the first 2 volumes of the manga, this collector's edition, you just go from different clients who are having very specific issues, and you see how, you know, they're dealing with life and then dealing with having their certain pet, and of course they always break their contract. Not all of them in the manga, but in the OVA, all of them break their contracts, except for the last episode, which is a mind trip. Let me just tell you what. Like, for example, the way that the anime is formatted versus the manga, the anime actually chooses chapter 3 to start out with the anime adaptation, with the whole, like, Alice allegory of, our daughter died, and her name was Alice, and we kind of, like, want, like, a pet, and then the pet is, like, a rabbit. And then there's, like, a whole spoiler, there's a whole plot twist where, like, oh, the daughter actually, like, died because the mother, like, gave her, like, kid drugs and overdosed and died. So there's the whole Alice in Wonderland allegory. I do actually kind of like how the anime did that whole chapter better than what the manga did, because I kind of like how it was, like, way more condensed in the mansion rather than, like, all of these rabbits spreading around on the streets. I like how it's just kind of, like, in that own specific area in the house. It makes it more personal why this mother was like breaking down, being like, oh, I just wanted my child to have the world, and I didn't mean my child to die by my own hands, and now this rabbit died by my own hands because I just gave it a cookie just one time, even though I was specifically told only to give it, like, vegetable and water. And, you know, that's the kind of consequences you're given if you just break the rules. But yeah, a lot of, like, I would say that the manga is a little bit more gorier. I mean, the first chapter has literally, like, a kid by, like, this very rare bird species. And yeah, they all take, like, very human personas. Like, they're kind of shown to be kind of, like, humanoid, even though they're like, oh yeah, this is, like, a bird. Or, like, in the anime, it's, oh yeah, oh, this Alice, she's, like, a rabbit. I don't fully know to the extent yet. I don't know if they're gonna, like, really explain why they look like humans or not, but I'm intrigued. I don't really personally care if they ever, like, explain why the animals look very humanoid or whatever. I think it's neat. I think it's kind of like, maybe it's like their brain wanting them to be a little bit more humanoid, so it's like more of a connection or something. I don't know. I think it's really neat. If they never explain it, I'm not complaining. I think it's really cool. But the manga is definitely a lot more gorier, because, like, there's one scene where, like, the girl's like, oh, I want to get this, like, female bird for, like, my male bird, because it's, like, lonely. And then it turns out the female bird, like, oh, this species actually, like, they, like, eat each other, and you just, like, see, like, the guts of the male bird just spread out. I would say that the anime is definitely visually disturbing in a lot of specific moments. You have, like, this very specific scene where a ton of, like, little baby bunnies just, like, burst from the main rabbit's stomach, and, like, they all look like creepy little kids with, like, their, like, tiny beating little eyes, and it's, like, the sound design in this anime is really good, too. Just so creepy. I think my favorite sound design is when Leon shoots his gun. It is the exact gun noise that is in Shadow the Hedgehog 2005. I'm not kidding you. I thought I had to write it in my notes. I'm like, yep, that's the Shadow the Hedgehog gun noise. I really love it. It's 10 out of 10, like, noise, like, sound design, great. I kid, it's great. It's very, it has a really great atmosphere throughout the entirety of the adaptation, just having, like, this very, like, annoying worldly feeling. The second episode, I believe, is, like, one of those episodes that has a really, really neat atmosphere behind it, because it's like, oh, this chick, she like jumped off a ship, and like now she's maybe reincarnated as like this like kind of mermaid siren type of thing, and like Jason is kind of deluded, being like, oh, maybe she might be the girl, the woman that I used to love who threw herself out the boat. She might be, you know, reincarnated, and we can love each other again. We could be true lovers. And you have the song just delicious play through the entirety of the episode, because, you know, she was a pop singer, and it's a very haunting type of song. Like, it sounds really kind of like soothing, but with the visuals, it makes it like absolutely just like, oh no, this dude's gonna die. And it's like, you know, unfortunate really, because technically he did break the contract. But like, I would not really want to try to go too in-depth about all of the episodes, since all of them are so episodic. Like, Delicious is great. I would just say, like, yes, most of the people die in every episode in the anime adaptation. Episode 3, I just really like a lot structurally, because it's trying to piece together what happened to the main person. Like, how did he die? Why did his pet die with him? That kind of thing. And it's like another good example of why Count D and Leon have like such interesting chemistry together. And yeah, there's a little bit of like silliness sprinkled in the entirety of the anime. Like I said, it's not very doom and gloom throughout. You have like Leon being hilarious. I just love him. His just like determination, just being so freaking stern, just being like, I'm tired of your nonsense, Count D. Can you just tell me what's going on? He's like, yes, you just have to like treat me to like some Baskin Robin or something. Then I'll tell you the whole depths of this story about how this person might have died or something. It's great. I love how they added the little detail of just like Count D being absolute like sugar nerd. I love him, my sugar honey. I gotta say, I watched this anime both in the dub and the sub. The dub is surprisingly really charming, despite some fruity language that is very of the time, unfortunately, with the scripting. But, I don't know, the voice acting's really charming. I think Leon was the character that took me the longest to get used to, because his delivery was really odd to me at first, but over the course of the 4 episodes, I really enjoyed it by the end of it.
Nice try, happy boy. Now where's the owner?
I don't know, there's actually some really good performances. I would say that the mother in the first episode had a really good delivery about how distressed she was about her daughter.
It made her so happy. She looked just like an angel.
I don't know, it was just like good sort of like early 2000s like dubbed anime that I don't even particularly say is like bad per se. Like Count D has like a slight Chinese accent, and you could say that it could be the definitive way to watch Pet Shop of Horrors, because technically it does take place in New York City, so it would make sense for like Count D to have like a slight Chinese accent.
You always show up just in time for tea, detective.
Then rather than watching in the Japanese version, but I like both versions. I would say I like the whole smooth delivery that Count D has a lot more in the Japanese version than he does in the dub, but once again, strangely charming, especially the dub for the time, because a lot of like very early 2000s dubs, at least to me, are kind of hit or miss depending on what series that you watch. Like, obviously people will say that stuff like Fullmetal Alchemist, Death Note, good stellar dubs, but stuff like this, it's kind of hard to be like, this sucks. It's actually really charming. Like, Pet Shop of Horrors has actually really good charming dub, so congrats for that. If you want to watch kind of like a cheesy but kind of well-rounded dub, I actually do recommend it. It's fun. It's great. It's a wonderful time. And I didn't even say anything about the last episode, because I don't even want to spoil anything about the last episode. I feel like you guys should just watch it for the whole twists and turns that the last episode provides. Let's just say that the last episode has to involve someone who wants to run for president of the United States. That's all I'll say. It's, in the ending of the episode, I was like sitting there, I was like mind blown, I was like, psh! I was like, this is wrong! I can't believe they did this! It was so freaking good. And I just like had such a fun time with the manga as well too. I love the art, I love the way that the characters are drawn. You get a lot more goofier expressions when it comes to the manga. The way that it's structured is well defined too. I do like how it kind of actually starts out with Leon being introduced when it comes to the one about the guy who like suddenly passes away. That was an episode 3 of the OVA, but Leon was introduced to in the manga through that. Yeah, good stuff. But I kind of like that we get more of the chemistry early on in the anime, because like Leon is there from the get-go in the anime, and it's not until chapter, what, 2? Or, yeah, it's like chapter 2 that Leon is introduced. And I don't know, I love their chemistry, and I'm like really excited to read more of Pet Shop of Horrors. So I know this review is all over the place, but this is a very, very good OVA that a lot of people should check out, as well as the newly released versions of Pet Shop of Horrors. Like, go give it a go. Usually Sentai Film Works, they usually have sales. I got literally my copy for like, what, $10? So it is definitely worth your time. Stellar music, really cool visuals, and like I said, it was animated by Madhouse, so they knew what they were doing. Good stuff. Like, 10 out of 10. I highly recommend it. It was the most biggest surprise for an OVA in a very, very long time. And yeah, you guys tell me what you thought about Pet Shop of Horrors. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you wish there was a little bit more behind it? Legitimately, if this ever got picked up to actually have like an entire run, I would be down. I kind of would want to sort of like keep its like darker tones that the anime had, because I don't know, like it was one of those animes that were like the last few that was more traditionally animated more than jumping straight into the more digital animation style. So I don't know. I'll see. And also that was like all I got visually. There's like no freaking there's like no HD pictures of like anything Pet Shop of Horrors related, and that's depressing because the art and the anime and the manga are really, really stellar. So that's what I got visually going on in the background. So tune in next time where I talk about, well, I know I have like, they haven't released the DVD for the series yet, but I'm going to talk about a series like Crunchyroll won't. I read the manga. The manga's really good. We're talking about Twilight of Focus, baby. So, yeah, tune in next time, and I appreciate you lovelies for watching, and I dropped my pen, but that's okay. My pen for taking notes on today's episode. If you like the video, give it a nice like. If you like the content on the channel, give it a little subscribe. It really helps me out a lot to keep going on the channel, maybe making it a big thing. You know, maybe we get the 10K, I'll talk about Darling in the Franxx. I'll suffer and do a whole analytical review about Darling in the Franxx, and I'll cry about it, but I'll do it because I care. I care about you lovelies, so yeah, I appreciate your time. Do take care of yourselves, and I will see you whatever is coming on the channel. Peace, lovelies.